Welcome to the Business Shop Podcast, where our guests speak on meeting the challenges of entrepreneurship, as well as offer tips and advice on business, marketing, technology, and more. Whether you are a newbie or a seasoned professional, this episode is for you. I am your host, Audrey Wiggins. Let's chop it up. Welcome to the Business Shop Podcast, where our guests speak on meeting the challenges of entrepreneurship, as well as offer tips and advice on business, marketing, technology, and more. Whether you are a newbie or a seasoned professional, this episode is for you. I am your host, Audrey Wiggins. Let's chop it up. Hello, Chop Squad. As usual, I'm excited to be with you and excited for my guest today. His name is Josh Flower, and he's the founder and CEO of Josh Flower Elite Mindset Coaching. So put that in your back pocket. Now, Josh is a B2B salesperson, professional, who has closed millions of dollars worth of deals. He recently launched a mindset coaching practice where he teaches people how to realize their dreams. And that may sound simple, but that's a concept where sometimes we just can't get off the couch or get off the idea that we wrote on paper. So he's here to help us to change our mindset there. He's a recovering pleasure seeker and nowadays focuses on the hard work of fulfilling his life's purpose. He's an expert on elite sales performance and how to take control of your life by mastering daily actions and thoughts. Now, we're going to hear a little bit more about Josh on the other side of this commercial. July 27th is National Love is Kind Day. Show some love to your business. Nurture it, grow it, and watch it flourish. Register now for Elevating the You in Entrepreneur Summit. Learn more at bit.ly/elevate the letter U July 2024. bit.ly/elevate the letter U July 2024. We're back with Josh, and we were talking at a little bit of his bio there and how he helps clients to master their daily actions and thoughts. So he helps his clients align their thoughts and actions with the lives they truly want to live. So Josh, welcome to the Business Shop.
Audrey, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. Really appreciate it. So I know off camera, we were talking a little bit about, how we got to where we are, and you were asking me about doing podcasts, and I gave you my little backstory of selling video tools. But I want to pick up on some of the conversation where you came into play there with your background in sales and just thinking about what you want to do with life.
Yeah. I think like a lot of people, I didn't know what I wanted to do coming out of school. And I'm going to date myself a little bit here, Audrey, but I saw an ad in the newspaper that said unlimited income potential. And I thought, what kind of job is this? Like I gotta, right. I need to phone this number, right? And
yeah,
it turned out it was sales. And so I started cutting my teeth in sales almost 25 years ago and realized that I had a real sort of aptitude for it, and I was eager to learn all about it. And I've since risen up the ranks in sales, been an executive, run Canadian operations. I'm based in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. But I got to the point in my career, and I think probably a lot of your audience, has been here, whether they've been on the executive track or whether they've gotten into entrepreneurship later in life. But I just thought, is this it? Is this skill set that I've learned and this, capability that I have, is this really what I'm going to do for the rest of my career? And it just got me to thinking that, I think I've gained a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience that I could pass along to others. And so the idea for the mindset training came about because I don't know how you feel about this, but I really feel everything in life is down to mindset. Whether we can accomplish what we want to do, whether we can make inroads in areas that we want, it all comes down to what we think and what we believe that we can do. So it really starts there for me. And so I've been doing this for about 3 months now on the mindset coaching side of things, but it's going quite well.
That's awesome. 3 months in, that's really exciting.
I'm a newbie.
Yeah, okay, okay, yes, exactly. Not really new to the business world, but just new to this part of it because
Correct.
again off camera we're talking about that we do things for such a long time, and like you said, you were great at it, great at sales, and we don't really get away from sales, but just in that that type of framework of selling
Yeah.
products or whatever. It's like, well, it's just a product I can fall in love with and retire with. And just thinking about it, I had written up a poem or statement that that talks about at some point in our career we're our next product, and that's your skill set in your coaching program. So excited to have you here today to talk about that. So before we get a little deeper into that, I wanted to ask you about your one or two fun things and your accomplishments. So you're
Right.
very playful, banter, and let's just hear share with the chop squad.
Well, this is kind of silly, and I think everybody can
Good.
probably relate to this a little bit, but I've always been the guy in the house. And I don't know if every household has one of these guys or gals, but where I'll hide behind, around the doorway, or I'll turn out the lights in the kitchen, and then when someone comes in, I'll yell out and just try and spook them. And I started seeing online, right, 10 years ago, that people make videos about this. So then I started to get my phone involved. And so I've got
Oh
all
God.
these videos of just scaring my wife and my daughter mainly.
Poor things. I feel for you all. Okay. Trust me.
Yeah, that's it. And, but I maintain that they enjoy it because they always end up laughing. At first they
Mhm.
shriek and then they start
Right.
laughing. So I said, see, I'm doing you a favor here. So that's my silly thing. I love to hide around the house and scare my family. And yeah. I
I
think
mean,
that's
that
kind
could
of
be
silly.
okay. Well, if the coaching business doesn't work out, you can get hired out to spook other people's families.
That's what I'm saying. I can make videos online. I think there's people making a lot of money, Audrey, doing this. So
Yeah.
maybe I should do that. I don't know.
Yep. Put that in your back pocket.
Exactly. I got it.
Okay, okay. Now, what about your accomplishments, your top accomplishments you want to share with us?
Yeah, thank you for asking. And
Hmm.
the big one, and I think many of us can relate, right? It's my family, of course.
Hmm.
It's, I've been married to my wife. We just hit our 25th wedding anniversary, so that was a quite a milestone. And
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you very much.
Hmm.
And I've got two beautiful kids, and very proud of them. And so that's certainly my greatest accomplishment. But I think, on the other side, it's career, right? I think, again, for most of us, we work so hard and our motivation is usually our family.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm very proud of my accomplishments there. And I'm also very excited for this new chapter
Yes.
because I feel invigorated again,
Hmm.
and I think that's something really exciting, that can happen at this stage in life for some of us that decide to take a different path. And I just state for your audience that I'm passionate about sales.
Hmm.
And whether you're in the business arena or you're an entrepreneur, I've got the skill set, the mindsets to help people improve their capacity to sell. So I'm always here to coach those sorts of folks, but really, I'm looking to help people get on track in any area of life that they're struggling with, whether it's their health, whether it's their relationships, whether they want to make a career pivot or shift a little bit later in life. These are areas that I can help with as well. So,
And you also recently he got into better shape after the big 5-0.
yeah, I'm glad.
That's important. People think, it's like, dang, I'm going to look like this the rest of I can't do it.
Well, and it's like life's tough, right? We're in service for those of us that are in middle age, and I don't know the demographic of your audience, but I know
Mhm.
what it was like for me in my 30s with a young family and 40s with teenagers is, that's your primary focus and you fall into these pathways of living. And I'd always struggled with my weight, I was
Mhm.
never extremely overweight, but I was always carrying some extra pounds and I struggled with you mentioned the pleasure seeking side of things.
Oh
That
yeah.
wasn't just food. That was, alcoholic beverages and other things.
Mhm.
And I just got to this stage in my life where I said, is this it, Josh? Or, do you want to make a push here and try and turn some of these things around? And so you're absolutely right, Audrey. At age 49, I really whipped myself into shape into my 50th year.
Mhm.
And that's an area that I can help people with. And frankly, I think for anyone out there that's curious about mindset training, what I'll tell you is it actually starts with the simple daily actions that are going to get your health turned around. So we focus on, and it can be very simple, 10 to 12 minutes of exercise per day,
Mhm.
plus doing some light dietary cleanup. And that's going to have a dramatic impact on your mind. Once we can get those habits into place and you can develop confidence in how you're living and the results that you're getting, in your life, then we can go on to tackle many of the other things that people need help with on the mindset side of things.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that personal piece with us, Josh.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. So, okay. So, what are two most important areas people should work on for success?
The two most important areas, well, in my humble opinion, I think it's really important to introduce a morning process, and I'll tell you
Mm.
why. And we hear a lot about this, and some people, maybe like yours truly, are a little bit crazy with the time that I wake up in the morning. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for everybody else, but just waking up 30 minutes earlier than you're used to doing now, and introducing a few sort of reflective habits first thing in the morning, I think is such a powerful thing that anybody can do. And I'll give you a couple of little nuggets here of what I recommend people think about in the morning.
Okay.
So wake up, do some light reading, like from a quote book or something positive, something that's going to put you into a positive frame of mind. Then reflect on what you regret from the previous day. All you've got to do is sit there and ask yourself, what do I regret from yesterday? And
Mm.
what you'll see is the ideas will just surface. You don't have to think about them. You don't even need to find them. Regret's not a choice. Regret is a feeling. And you will just tell yourself, like, I regret eating that naughty food that I had at lunch, or I regret having that third glass of wine, or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
It'll percolate to the top. And then all you have to do is pledge to do better today. So it's a very simple process of reflecting on the previous day, getting the lessons for what needs to change, and then pledging to do better today. And then the final tip that I recommend people do in the morning is think a little bit about your problems. Because in the morning, those problems will be top of mind for you. So give them a little bit of thought and then endeavor to reframe them as opportunities for you to grow. So you got a problem. Yes, it's a problem. We want to get rid of it, but you're the catalyst to getting rid of it. So what needs to change with you? How do you need to step up to deal with that problem today? I think for a lot of people, we wake up with the problems on our mind and then all day long we stress about them,
Ugh.
right?
Right.
So you
Right.
take a couple minutes in the morning and just think it through. You'll be surprised at some of the insights that you get, and then you're away with your day, So that's what I
Mhm.
recommend.
Okay. So that helps us to kickstart and get going. And so that
You
really
bet.
comes down again to the mindset and how you talk about people implementing great habits and really just becoming a happy person and finding our life's purpose. Can you speak to that some?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay.
And here's the thing, right? That 30-minute earlier wake up time, what I want people to think about is that that's just time for me. And all of us, the alarm goes off and then it's like we're into our day. So
Yeah.
just 30 minutes. And if you can carve out more, that's great. But 30 minutes just to say, hey, Audrey, this is time for you to
Mhm.
sort of set the stage a little bit in your life. It's such a positive thing. And when we talk about the habits, in my opinion, again, what I would recommend to people is do some light exercise in the morning. And it doesn't need to be much. I'm not telling people to go and bust themselves at the CrossFit gym and, do 100 chin-ups. You don't need to do that. You can just do some simple jumping jacks, some push-ups, as many as you can do. Some people that may be 2 or 3 to begin with, and then they can take it from there. But just something to get the blood pumping a little bit. It's a very positive thing to do in the morning. Now, all of this is leading to what I feel is life's purpose, okay? And
Okay.
I think all of us have two life purposes, okay? So the first is to demonstrate love for yourself through this prioritization in the morning. So becoming the best version of you through supporting yourself. That's everybody's primary purpose, because when you're the best version of you, you can then have the best impact on the world. So it's got to start at home. That's why these priorities in the morning are so important. Once you're doing that sort of investment consistently, your cup will runneth over, and then you can figure out what your secondary purpose is. And in most cases, it's going to be service, right? I mean, look at you. You've run this podcast to give entrepreneurs and people a platform to help your audience. You know, it's a service-based thing that you're doing here.
Right.
So for most people, I would say that your purpose is going to be contributing to others in some way, but don't forget to take care of yourself first. You know, the better you can do that, the better service you're going to be to your community, your audience, whoever you're trying to serve.
Absolutely.
Make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yes, for sure. You know, that we were talking about a personal thing, but we are a person. We're not just a salesperson or an artist or, you know, an engineer. We're people first before we can even get to our vocation.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we're entitled, like we're valuable, you know,
Thank
and the
you. Yes.
yeah, and the person, like, and our primary, like the one that has the most invested in us is ourselves, right? Like we've got to take care of ourselves. We can't expect others to do it. Now, of course, hopefully we have a loving partner, right? We've got a great family, but we've got to start by showing ourselves that love and respect. And if we do that, it's just going to extend out from there. And, you know, I think people do this to varying degrees, but if you don't have a dedicated morning process, start doing this now because it is really healthy. Over time, people will realize like, wow, I really like this time that I'm giving to myself in the morning before the hair catches on fire and, you know, I'm on with my day, right? Like, yeah, you're just blasting through.
Yeah, for sure. How does that help us though in our sales?
Yeah, well, so here's the thing, right? And I've listened to some of your podcasts. I really enjoy your podcast, and I've
Thank
heard different
you.
entrepreneurs and people. And the one that I was just listening to, and I can't remember her name. I think it was Jamika or Jamila, the one that was
Jamika, probably.
Jamika.
Yeah.
That's right. She was the lifetime vegan, right? I remember that.
Oh, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yes.
It was, yeah. I was fascinated with her, but she made a comment about sales, you know, about how people buy from people they like and they trust. And this is very, very true. And to be likable, you've got to like yourself first, right? And to be trustworthy, you've got to trust yourself. So if we can get you following through on a few habits that you commit to yourself and you do that regularly, you're going to build trust in yourself. You're going to build value in yourself. And that is going to just come right out of you. People are going to be able to read it off of you. So if you're selling yourself, your own service, your product, you're an entrepreneur, or you're in business in some other way, you're going to be more effective at sales just naturally. And then, of course, if you need more tips, feel free to message me, reach out to me through, you know, my socials. I can help with that. But just showing this love and trust in ourselves more is going to make you naturally a more charismatic, a more, you know, sales-worthy individual. Let's say it that way.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how do we develop that positive, growth-oriented mindset?
You know, that's a great question because people often come to me and say, okay, I want the mindset. Like, what do I do? How do I need to start thinking? And it's like, I can help with that. But really what we're going to do is put a few positive actions in place in the morning. So all of my clients, how it starts is, believe it or not, I have them download a calorie counting app. I get them set up. Yeah. I get it. But you know why I do this, Audrey? It's not so much to hold them rigidly to anything, but it's more to help them get some insight into, hey, what are the things that I'm doing over the course of the week that are maybe blowing out my calories, right? Oh, it seems every Friday and Saturday night, I consume 600 calories worth of booze, you know? Maybe I want to drop that down a little bit. Or, whoa, pizza every Sunday. That's blowing me.
Woo.
So it's getting those kind of insights. And then I also have a private training app where I will structure a workout plan for people. And this is the foundation. So you start doing these two things, just watching the diet a little bit and start investing in exercise. Then that primes us to start doing other things. But it's those two habits are the foundation of all of my mindset coaching client relationships, believe it or not.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So even before we can get to talking about sales and sales techniques, we're working on our sales first.
Well, we are, but I want to be clear that every client is different, right? And so I'll give you an example. I got a guy that came to me and he's in his mid-30s and he's in great shape. In fact, he's training for his second marathon. So
oh, wow.
this guy's pretty good with the food and he's pretty good with the workouts, but what he needs help with is dropping some addiction issues that he's struggling with, like vaping, using nicotine and some other things, drinking. And so we're moving to that because he's already got the foundational elements in place with the exercise and the diet. So every client, I'm going to talk to you about what it is that you're looking for, right? And we can be very precise, right? If we're looking to improve sales capabilities, we can do that. But for many of my clients, they come to me and say, look, I need to make improvements in a bunch of different areas. Like, where do I start? If that's the question, we're going to start with a couple of these good habits, and then we're going to build from there. But I would encourage anyone that may be interested, or I think a better way to say it is if you kind of vibe with me, if the way that I am resonates with you, reach out to me. We can open a dialogue and explore together if there's ways that I could help you and where that starting point may be.
Knock out your competition with Altogether Marketing. We elevate your brand. Take a stance with your business name, logo, the tagline, your colors, even the fonts for your business. And then jab left with your website, jab right with core values. Back up with product experience and bring it on with you. Visit altogether.biz and let us help you create a knockout brand.
Okay, so how can we get in touch with you, Josh?
Yeah, thanks for the question there. So the best way is Instagram, Audrey. And I noticed you've got a nice following on Instagram. And I am such a believer in this platform because this is the place where, if you're watching this podcast and you're curious about me, I'd encourage you, just follow me on Instagram. You're going to see my daily habits. You're going to see me talking about my philosophies on life, sales, coaching. And over time, you'll be able to see if you think that I can help you. So that's what I would encourage anyone that's interested. Follow me there, check me out. And over time, if you like what you see, if you think that I could be helpful to you, then reach out to me anytime.
Awesome. Thank you. Please leave us with some wisdom here. I'm going to pull from your list of the secret for learning a new skill and becoming a high performer.
Well, the secret to learning any new skill is accepting failure. So I am a huge believer in embracing the concept of failure. Anytime you're learning something new, and I'll give you an example. So I just started posting online in January. I go back and watch those videos, Audrey, that I made in January, and it's almost like I can't even stomach watching them, right? And that was 3 short months ago. But,
you grew a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And I think back to when I first started in sales, I had a manager who was great that said, look, you're not allowed to leave at the end of the day until you hit 50 calls. You got to make these 50 calls. And so we would just grind through it and we would fail and fall on our faces. And he said, don't worry, 50 more tomorrow, 50 more the next day. Right. And,
right.
And we would get there. So the secret to learning a new skill and also advancing quickly is to try, fail, reflect on what happened, what went wrong, adapt, and then try again. So it's very simple. Try, fail, reflect, adapt, try again. And just keep doing that over and over again, whether it's in sales or some other area of your business. If you apply that model, you'll get good quickly. People don't like to fail though, so that's the challenge point.
Yeah. And not beating ourselves up into a corner because of it.
That's it. Well, that's what people do. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's not over. Life is just beginning at the end of that failure.
Big time. You've got to embrace it. And and I think we're taught this in school, right? Like failure is a bad thing. You fail on the test, but in the real world, this is how we learn. I've had plenty of success in my career. All the greatest lessons came through the failures. Those are the ones you pay attention to after the fact and that sting and get you to really reflect. So I would just encourage everyone, give it a shot, expect to fail, and then take the lesson.
Awesome. I really appreciate it, Josh. So Chop Squad, you know what to do. Get in touch with Josh, follow him on Instagram as he suggested, and if he resonates with you, definitely get in touch with him so we can get on that journey to success. We're starting with those small steps within.
You bet. And Audrey, I'll just say quickly, my Instagram handle is instagram.com/JoshFlower1, the number 1. And flower is just like a flower in the ground, as I like to say. So easy one to remember, I think.
Yep. All right. Well, really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, Audrey. So great to be here. Thank you again for having me.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you for listening to The Business Shop. We hope that you were able to glean valuable information from our guest and that you will download and share this podcast. Your rating and review is much appreciated. To go deeper with our guests, please visit their website and social channels. To learn more about us, please visit businessshop.info or altogether.biz, where we will help you expand your brand. Thank you for listening to The Business Shop. We hope that you were able to glean valuable information from our guest and that you will download and share this podcast. Your rating and review is much appreciated. To go deeper with our guests, please visit their website and social channels. To learn more about us, please visit businessshop.info or altogether.biz, where we will help you expand your brand.